The new moon at 28 degrees of Capricorn. This is happening on the 18th. Sunday? Yeah, Sunday at 2:51 p.m. Eastern Time. Number one thing we always want to understand when we're talking about these lunations, we have a new moon, full moon cycle. New moons, it's when there's darkness, the light of the moon is obstructed. In the shadows and the darkness, it's when we are planting our seeds, we're setting our intentions, we're calling in to manifest. Maybe we're not doing a manifestation practice, but we can just view them as a new beginning. It's like the reset, the energetic, emotional reset of the month. Normally there's one. Occasionally there might be more than one. Depends on the timeline. Mathematics, if there happens to be more than one. Same thing as sometimes there's a second full moon that's a blue moon. But we can view them as the restart button. It's the starting line. It's the beginning. When we have a new moon in Capricorn, Capricorn is cardinal earth sign. Thrives on structure, responsibility, personal ambition. So what we can expect on this day, so for me, this is in the afternoon, is when the energy is peaking. For you, it could be the morning, and maybe you're sitting in this energy for most of the day. Maybe it's happening overnight, and you're catching the tail end of it the next morning. So you want to check your time zone to know how and when you could work with the moon. But generally, what this portal is eliciting is the heightened personal drive and ambition, potentially being emotionally withdrawn. Capricorn is Saturn ruled, so it's not particularly warm and fuzzy. So there's going to be other moons, especially when we're talking about a full moon, when things are super heightened. New moons, it's a little bit quieter energy. So you may not find that your emotions are doing that much. One, because it's Capricorn. Two, because this is the new moon. You may find that you are seeking out efficiency, or you are fixating on boundaries in order to feel safe. So the moon in our chart is representing like our emotions, our body. And when we are tending to it, it is helping us to feel comforted and secure. So Capricorn prides itself on being reliable and valuing reliability in others. So same thing with the boundaries getting crossed. There's some intersection there that if we're not seeing that in the people around us or feeling that within ourselves, it leads to discomfort. It leads to frustration and the emotions being amplified and triggered. Something else that also can come up with Capricorn is a little bit of pessimism. So you can watch out for that as well, just in case it crops up. It could just be that you are tuned into the moon's energy. When you are looking at your chart, you'll want to keep this in mind that we have what's called an orb. So there's a radius of energy where the peak of this new moon is at 28 degrees Capricorn. But typically the orb that I use is 5 degrees. So that means we go backwards 5 degrees to 23 and forwards 5 degrees to 3 of Aquarius, the next sign in the zodiac. So if you look at your chart and you see any planets within that orb, then that means that those planets will be infusing their energy into this event. So everything that I just said, plus whatever the energy is of those planetary bodies. For this new moon, full moon cycle, whether or not you are manifesting, we are beginning a chapter on the 18th, and this chapter ends with the full moon in Capricorn, which is on June 29th. So we have the starting line and we have the finish line. So that's the day that you want to circle on your calendar. So if you are setting some sort of intention or manifestation practice, that's the framework that you're looking at. Over these next several months until June 29th, what am I calling in? Now, there's a lot of different rituals that you can have for a new moon. If you have my 2026 Life Path calendar in the guidebook, I have a section with journal prompts. So each lunation, new moon, full moon, and eclipse, there are prompts in there. So you can write and follow those prompts. So in this case, setting some sort of intention. So I have a couple questions in there, jot them down, bullet, whatever you would like. Other things that you could do are cleaning or organizing your space. You can think about it as it's a clean start. It is a beginning energy, or that you're making room for something new to come in. So if you are purging your space a little bit, getting rid of clutter, then that supports it. June 29th is the full moon. So it's from the 18th of January to June 29th. Other things to do on a new moon, self-care practices. So general self-care, so whatever it is that you know that you like, whatever it is that you consider self-care. You also can focus on self-care for your specific moon sign. I do have a workshop on this in the shop on my website. I go through all 12, so you can find what yours is, get the overview, some different suggested practices to give you some ideas. And additionally, if you wanted to try a self-care practice that's focused on the sign that the moon is in, you could do some for Capricorn. So just a couple examples, there are many more, are something like strength training. So Capricorn wants to challenge itself, so it wants to improve, be better, but it is about that fortitude. So some sort of strength training, lifting weights, or a mindfulness practice. So those are, again, just a couple examples that appeal to the Capricorn energy. All right, so you can toss in the chat what you have at 29 degrees of Capricorn. I can just give a little extra color, some other examples of what to consider as well for this new beginning and new moon, where you can cast it if you want to do a manifestation practice, or if you're making note for June 29th. If you know what area of your life it was in, then you can just do the reflection then and say, hey, how did I grow in this area? So either way, whichever way you want to do it, or you want to do both. That degree is in my 5th house. So for you, very interesting. So it's a new beginning. You're planting seeds in trying to call in more fun and creativity, which is not exactly Capricorn's MO, which is why I chuckled a little bit. So whatever creativity that you are looking to call in, or pleasure or play, how can you make your life, your long-term Capricorn, more infused with fun, more pleasure seeking, a little bit lighter to counter Capricorn's natural heaviness? That is on point, though, the creativity and balancing play. Yeah, exactly. Because by having Capricorn in your 5th house, that could suggest that your relationship with play, there's maybe been some issues with it where it's like you want to have fun, but it has to feel important enough, or it has to be scheduled into your life, or that what you consider fun is more in the Capricorn domain, such as planning, setting goals, personal development, things like that. I'm grinning so hard. Well, as long as you can relate. Again, that is what is fascinating about astrology, because it's all just archetypes. And yet it can feel very validating just to see how it all lines up for us. Yeah. As far as like the play stuff, like I don't have Capricorn in this area. I have, I have Scorpio, totally different energy, but I have my North Node there. So in a similar but different angle way, I also have, like, as a lifelong lesson. So whereas for you, it's something that it's long-term renegotiation through one perspective. For me, it's okay, no, it's something that I'm having to learn over and over and over again and like move towards in my life because I have North Node there. But my definitions of fun are different. The expressions of it are different because it's in a totally different sign, as a different element and different modality. Very interesting. I have Capricorn in my 5th house. Your description sounds like my parents, both Capricorns, whose voices I hear in my head telling me I don't deserve play unless I'm also being productive. That's so fascinating. Yeah. So again, it's about like, what is your relationship with it? And your relationship naturally can, and for many people, would be informed by what's happening in your childhood. So I don't know which house system you use. It's possible you have a little Capricorn that goes also in the 4th house. But regardless, even if you're using whole sign, that would mean it's Sagittarius beforehand. So it's like being very idea concept focused, like they're teaching you a lot. And so they're instilling in you a certain belief system. And it maybe is just so that it is this Capricorn type energy. So it's something that similar to Caitlin, like you're having to navigate through that. And some of it is conditioned, some of it is taught, and some of it you like, and some of it you don't. And so how do you work through that? Okay, so I'll just rattle quick. So 1st house, that is identity. It's also your physical body, as in your appearance. So how do you look? How do you present to others? What labels are you using for yourself? So maybe you are wanting to set an intention around making some sort of adjustment to your appearance. Goals, again, it's different than health goals because health is over in the 6th house. So it's just maybe you're like, I want to cut my hair this year in like a totally new style, or I want to get a tattoo or something like that, or some sort of a shift in how you want to identify. And because it's Capricorn, there's something that feels ambitious about it, so that you're pushing yourself. You're trying to push yourself to shift your identity or shift your appearance in some way. 4th house, I mentioned a little bit, that is family, home as in physical home, home as in what it means to you, and your origin story, as well as parents. So the people that were your caretakers. So that could mean, okay, I want to change my relationship with my caretaker's parents if they are still alive. I want to buy a house. I want to move, shift something. Again, you're setting a goal. You're trying to set a goal around it because it's Capricorn. And then 3rd house, that's communication, also siblings. So we have sibling relationships in there. So same thing applies to anything relationship based, like you're trying to do something with them, set a goal together, collaborate on something. 3rd house is communication. So that could mean that you want to write something, that you want to start using a new technology to be more innovative, to share your thoughts and to express. Yes, I also have Neptune and Capricorn in the 4th. Whoa, love your. Oh, thanks, Caitlin.